Action! Hey everybody, sorry I'm a minute or so late. Hi Susan. Oh, what a time, what a time. I don't have a big list tonight. It's just a one page, it's not even full. But I have a few things to talk about and I might have a few more pop into my head. Thanks for joining me. We only have 5 viewers. What's up with that? I should be rich and famous. I need like better light on this side. Is that possible? That's a little better. It's a little too bright though. So did you guys see my video when I talked to people in Asheville? I would guess that some of you did. Yeah, that was really kind of draining on me yesterday. That, and also I was going through one of my stomach healing crises. This has been happening like every couple of weeks. My stomach goes through this healing crisis. And that was yesterday and last night. And they're really not fun. I get this horrible headache. And I just kind of have to hang in there until it goes away. Hi, Cheryl and Diana. How are you? So, anyways, I went to the co-op and I went to Lowe's to get a few things yesterday. I was wondering if Lowe's was even going to be open. Like, I thought they'd be open today, but I asked the girl and she said that they're an essential business and that they will be open next week when the state officially closes down. It's really overblown, but it has to be that way so that people start to change in a lot of different ways. People have to really understand the seriousness of it, not for most of us, but for some people. Quite a few, actually. Quite a few people are really afraid, are really scared to lose their lives if they get the coronavirus. And this is a really difficult but good thing. And we all know, that the skies are blue again. The skies are blue. And the Earth actually might be making positive ground now in regards to the carbon reduction and the global warming. You never know. At this exact time right now, because that all the emissions have been reduced so much, that it might be that way, that we're actually gaining ground. How's that? But you don't have to know anything scientific about anything. All you have to do is go outside in Los Angeles or any major city in this country and take a nice deep breath and look around. Because you see, when we haven't seen somebody for a long time and then we see them again, the changes are very apparent because we have the image of what they used to look like in our minds. But when we see somebody every day and they just keep getting more unhealthy daily, but we see them every day, we don't really notice. But when all of a sudden the air is clean and clear, we kind of just go, wow, I didn't know that the earth looked like this. I didn't know that the sky was this beautiful in San Bernardino. So I'm hoping that people start to get a clue, and I'm hoping that people stop going to fast food restaurants. And just like in that video I made 9 months ago where I said that my big idea for America was that we should ban processed foods. Now I hope that I don't start losing signal. So it's flashing a little bit. Last week it was a bad signal, and you guys should tell me. Hi Joe. You guys should tell me if it's a bad signal, because I might just start over. But my internet, I checked my internet speed before I started this tonight. They've turned up the internet speed. I'm over 50 gigs per second or whatever it is right now. And so, and the look, so the megabyte free upload. So that's higher than I'm usually at because they've increased the speed, obviously, because they know people are home more. But good quality image and audio as well. Good, Joe. Thank you. So, anyways, there are just so many things, and it's going to be blatantly obvious, even for people with not very high IQs, in all honesty, to see that, basically they need to start taking care of themselves. And on Facebook, I saw that there was some group that was trying to get your email address and trying to get your money. They wanted you to sign some kind of a petition in regards to telling the government that dairy is not a food group. We don't really need the government to tell us that. I'm telling you that dairy is not really a food group. If you want to place it in a food group, you can, but I don't. I place it in a clog group. Dairy is a clog group, and some of the other clog foods are like eating too much meat, eating meat that's not healthy and was grown in cages, or mass production meats, or Frankenstein type meats that were overly bred to grow twice as fast. And that's kind of another thing that I really believe is a problem. And that is that when you consume that chicken from the store, it was bred for so many decades, decade after decade after decade, to be bigger, to grow bigger. So if you eat something that was bred to grow bigger, and also they're just ravenous eaters, ravenous eaters. They just eat and eat, and they need to do that to grow as big as they do. Think about like a sumo wrestler, okay? Those people and some of the big athletes that do crazy freaking things, like linemen on the NFL, they eat and they eat. They eat like tons of food. And like, how would you like to be? You wouldn't want to eat them. Do you know what I mean? Because if you eat something that was bred to do that, wouldn't it make sense that you would also to do that? And some people really like chicken, and I think that the more of that they eat, if it's not like homegrown chicken, and I know that that's a problem, see, because a lot of people really like chicken and turkey. And next fall, when Thanksgiving comes around, you're probably going to go get yourself a turkey. And those turkeys cannot even breed anymore on their own. They have to be artificially inseminated because they're so fat. They can't get it in there. Whereas if I buy some turkeys from Hoover's Hatchery or some other place and I raise them just like I'm raising my birds here, it's just a completely different story. You can buy any breed that you want to, just like a dog. And I guarantee you that all of those turkeys are probably just like the chickens, the Cornish crossbreed. There's probably a specific breed of turkey, or maybe one or two, that was bred to be giant, have a huge breast. Don't eat foods that are meats that are bred to be giants, or that's what you'll probably be. I would say that it will probably make you hungry all the time, and it will probably make you really fat, just like those. There's probably like natural growth hormones that the chickens and turkeys all like produce on their own. So let's see, what else do we want to talk about? Okay, so when I went to Asheville yesterday, I was thinking that I might make a video, and I got done doing my thing at the co-op. I was not allowed into the dry foods area. You place your order, the guy walks back and loads all your stuff into bags, brings it up with the number on it, and then you're able to take it. When I got to the co-op, there was a guy standing, a volunteer, a friend of mine, and he gives you a pair of gloves. and you have to wear the gloves inside the French Broad Food Co-op in Asheville now. You can't go in without them. I think it's a pretty smart idea. What do you think? Hi, Mario. What do you think, Mario? Is that a smart idea to put on the latex gloves to go into the store? They were probably not. They were probably just plastic gloves because some people are allergic to latex. So, fat turkey comment, crude joke from the people don't have sex. They play bumper cars. So, anyways, yeah, it's really hard because I know that's the only thing that's available at the store. So, but actually, what I'm telling people is that you can still eat wild pink salmon. You can buy cans of it, and you can buy it fresh. You can buy a can for $3.50 to $4, and you can buy it fresh for $10 to $12, maybe $13 a pound. I know that's really expensive, but so what I'm doing is I'm just buying that like once or twice a month. Now, probably more like once. And for those of you that can't pay your rent in a couple of days, don't feel too alone, because I'm one of those people that can't fully pay my rent. I'm just going to pay the owner here what I can, which is half of what the normal rent is. And then I'm just going to try and keep doing my best. I've been getting some jobs, but not, I've lost all my Airbnb income. Okay, so I got my first Airbnb reservation today. I'm not sure if it's going to stay or not, because she already canceled it once, and she rebooked it for August 6th or April 6th. And I was like, now didn't you cancel this once? I just wanted to make sure that you really want it this time. I had about 4 people cancel. They had their, they wanted to go on their spring for fun mountain vacation and go hiking and stuff, and that's what people do when they come here and stay in the Airstream. And I get to make $24. And every month I was making, probably at this time of the year, I was probably making $300 in the month. And that really helped me to pay the rent. And the rent is not that expensive. It's only $500. But you have to understand that a lot of what I sell, like if I sell a millet hole pillow for $45, I make half of that for the labor. The other half is all in the materials. So, and all of the things that I sell, not all of them, but a lot of the things that I sell cost a lot to make. And the other things take a lot of time. And so I'm generally not making more than $30 an hour, sometimes just like with the pillows, $20. $20 an hour, because it takes me more than an hour to make a pillow. And so anybody that doesn't have one of my pillows, I'm telling you, I make them for a reason, and that reason is because they are the best. They are incredible little pillows. And so anyways, yeah, and then people around here that might have thought about buying something from me to come over here, they're scared now. They're scared because the coronavirus might be on me. I might have the coronavirus, So y'all should know that I've had very minimal exposure. I've been to the regular grocery store a couple of times, and I've been to the co-op in Asheville a couple of times. I went to Lowe's yesterday. They put up plexiglass things in front of each check stand at Lowe's to protect their workers. I think that's a smart idea too. But pretty minimal exposure, and around this area, Asheville, and especially out here in the mountains. I mean, people are freaking out, but if they're old, I guess that they should. But for the most part, it's not here yet. It's really not. I don't think that in this county, Yancey County, there's even one, probably. But in Asheville, I believe they said that there were 6 coronavirus cases. And Asheville's a city of over 100,000, I believe. So you really don't have to worry about it too much. But after I went to Lowe's and I got a few spray bottles because I needed to be able to spray some natural pesticides on my new starters. And I should tell you, like, I'll tell you the story about how I probably have to move at the end of August. It's kind of really hard to be me, y'all. But after I got done with Lowe's and the co-op, then I decided, well, okay, I'm going to drive around and see if I can find some people that are willing to do some, make some comments about what their thoughts and feelings are about the coronavirus. And I think it was good. I thought it was a good video. Did you guys like it? I have a compromised immune system and COPD. I'd be dead by now if it was true. If what was true? Yeah, they put up the plexiglass here too. Well, you have a pet chicken you named Corona, yes? Hi, Kim Ray. Okay, so, anyways, after I was done with all of that, I don't know if it's the energy in the air. It's probably a combination of the thoughts going through my head, the energy in the air, the energy from me just seeing and hearing people. And some people are more open about it and more honest about it, and other people really don't want to share their fearful feelings that they might have, etc. Some people financially they're doing better, even if like the one girl is unemployed, now she can collect unemployment and get an extra $600 a week. As for me, I'm still making some money, not as much, and I'm not sure of how much I'll be able to get. There's a fund for people that are like musicians, Uber drivers, anyone that's like a single person that's self-employed. They're allowing unemployment for that from with this special fund that they've created out of the $2 trillion. So hopefully I'll be able to get some of that, and hopefully y'all will keep buying some of my products. But I have to kind of just stay afloat here, and it's probably the scariest thing for me personally. Besides thinking about some of the friends that I have that really aren't that healthy, that I worry about, like somebody that I saw today, she gave me a SCOBY, and I could see she was really worried about the possibility of getting it. And she's the kind of a person that really likes to travel. She really likes to get in her car, and she really likes to go and see things and do things, and it's part of her astrological makeup. Some people like me, I'm kind of for the most part happy at home. Whereas if you're a person that I believe Sagittarius people really likes to travel, and I think Gemini people really like to travel too. Gemini people need to know, they want to know and learn about things. And one of the ways that they're able to do that is by traveling. And I can't remember exactly why Sagittarius people like to travel, but like Sagittarius people do. And I think maybe Libra too. But anyways, for me, being a Cancer, homebody, I'm the crab and I'm in my shell. I like to, for the most part, stay in my shell. See, with me, like being this personality on YouTube that likes to share his thoughts and feelings. My feelings come from the Cancer, but when I'm like, so Venus is the art side of a person, the artistic, the feminine, the creative side of a person. And Mercury is the communicative part, communication. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. You're communicating by writing little things there, and I'm communicating by telling you my thoughts. If you have any questions about something that you'd like to ask, then I'd be more than willing to help. And anyone that's interested in a consultation, a holistic consultation, I have a pretty strong knowledge of real ways. Like, okay, so we're in a period where now it's like serious change. So the universe is beckoning you. It's requesting of you to up your game. That's the deal. And it's never going to stop. That's never going to stop. Once in a while, a full planet up your game deal happens. And that's what this one is. And some of you don't really need too much, but others really do. And everyone knows how good their health is. And some people have been thinking like, man, I've been putting this off for a long time. Like I did a consultation with a guy last week that works at Verizon, I believe it was. All of his sales guys are at home. He's the only one in the office now. He's the manager, and he goes there, and now it's 5G. Okay, so that's his job. He can't just all of a sudden switch that without having like major stress and losing his income, etc., etc. He can't do that. But there was so many things that he needed to work on besides that. See, it's not just one thing. That's why it's called holistic healing. There are so many things that people need to work on. And just because I talk about clean air, well, that's just one of the things. I worked on that for over 20 other things for over 20 years before I got out of a city and into the country. And there was a lot to do for a long time, and that's how it is for most people. There's so many things. And there are quick fixes that you can do. Like, for instance, say that you really like a nice hot bath or a hot shower like most of us do, but you smell that chlorine. You smell that chlorine every time you turn on the heat, and then you're breathing it, and it's going into your skin and stuff. You can buy a shower filter. It's a little thing about this big, and it's got a bunch of can't remember what it's called, but it filters the chlorine out of the water, and it really is noticeably better. And I could put a quick link up for you. I can get it in about less than a minute, I'll bet you. Chlorine shower filter. Aha! And there it is. There are several here. Hello? See, it's really slow because I'm streaming. Okay, so if you go to that link right there to Amazon, then you can see a whole bunch of different ones. And buy one, I'll get a little cut from my affiliate link, a short version affiliate link to the shower filters. Now, a lot of people nowadays are talking about conspiracy theories. And some people are into that kind of like, some people are into the whodunits, the mysteries, like the murder mysteries. They're into those. And that's cool. I was never really into that. I just kind of never thought it was that interesting because I've always looked at things as being like, from a spiritual standpoint in regards to like the conspiracy theory that that the people at the top, the 1%ers, are all in it against us. They're conspiring against the rest of the world. They want to control the rest of the world. And that may be true or that may not be true, but for me, I'm really not interested in spending my time studying it because there's a bigger picture. There's something so much bigger than they are, no matter how much money that they have. Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, the CEO of Amazon. They say he has more money, like he has like 160 billion or something. And the next person down is Microsoft, what's his name, with something like 90. In any case, whether they're conspiring against the rest of humanity or not, who cares? Who cares? It's only a life, and you do the best you can, and there's really not a whole lot that you can do about it. The deal is that when the little people get smarter and smarter, and when the little people get more and more organized, and when the little people get more and more power, that's when they will have the power. But as of right now, I mean, most people, they are not very, intelligent. I mean, they may be somewhat intelligent, but they're not very educated. They don't really focus on one thing. Even people that nowadays that go to college, they'll focus on so many different things, but they won't get really good at any one in particular. And that's really detrimental for their better welfare. They're wasting a lot of time. But think about all the time right now that's being freed up for people just from not driving. The time is money. Not only is time money, it's power, it's health, it's wealth, it's everything. It's happiness. Time is really happiness. And for me, it's hard for me to live in this world because I just don't have a lot of time left over for myself. I work really diligently to make enough time, but right now I'm kind of trying to get somebody from work away to come help me, or the other one, the woofers, workers on organic farms. But it's kind of, I have a couple of girls that are interested in coming and helping me, like shoot videos and this and that. But with the current situation, it's kind of difficult, and we'll see. But stay tuned. Okay, so the reason I might have to move at the end of August is because the owner owns a spa and physical therapy business in Asheville that is now closed. So he's kind of, freaking out a little bit, not a lot, but he's a cool-headed person. But I imagine that he's thinking that he told me that he needs to really possibly move into this cabin, even though it's way too small for his family. This cabin is perfect for one single person. And he knows that it's way too small for him, his wife, and his 3 kids. It's just a small 2-bedroom cabin. But if he doesn't have any income coming in, and the place that he's living in right now he doesn't really like, but if he doesn't have any income coming in, he may have to live in this place. We'll see. I told him, the thing is that everything is up in the air right now. And we can't really predict anything. We don't know because we've not dealt with anything this aggressive before. And also, with the poor health of Americans in this country, it's so hard to determine how bad it's going to be. It just depends on each individual, I saw somebody at the recycling place 2 days ago. I went to the recycling to drop off all my cans and bottles, etc. There was a guy there that looked like he was pregnant with triplets. I'm not kidding you. His 30-foot of digestive system was so bloated and full of mucoid plaque. I'll show you how far it was sticking out. Okay, so this guy's belly, there's mine. His belly was sticking out to there. And I swear he could have had quadruplets in there. And isn't it funny? But it's not for us, because you see, all of that is a big burden on them personally. They're the ones, and their families are the ones that have the brunt of the burden. But guess what? All of the rest of us also have that burden. All of the health care in this country. If people were all healthy, there wouldn't be health care. people wouldn't be spending 20% or something ridiculous, whatever it is, of their income for health care if they didn't eat all that junk and if they took care of themselves. And for me, like I've told you, there is a certain point where I just have to say, okay, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That, my friends, is the serenity prayer. And I need to say that to myself a lot more often. Hey, Melissa. Yeah. So guess what I did today, Melissa? Speaking of gut health, today I made sauerkraut. And I'm really good at making sauerkraut. Oh, and also I made kombucha. And like I told you, I went to my friend's that she was worried about her health, and she has okay health, but she also has breast implants. But anyways, she gave me a kombucha SCOBY and some juice, and I made that. And then I was so geared that I made a big pot. My sauerkraut pot. I have a special sauerkraut pot. I made a big pot of sauerkraut. And got the kitchen all cleaned up just in time to do a little bit of stretching or a little bit of rolling on my legs. My legs were really tight. And it really helps me to do some skin brushing, some facial brushing, my head brushing, and to like roll on my body, and also to roll on my spine rollers. And you should know that all of these tools are instrumental for me to stay healthy. Because when you're going through the detox, when you're changing your diet and you want to get to this point of where your breath is just sparkly clean because you've got such good flora in your digestive system all the way from your mouth all the way to your ass, that you're just like, you could kiss anybody. There was this girl, oh my God. There was this girl that stayed in the Airstream a couple of months ago. God bless her soul. She had the worst freaking breath. Oh my God. I was like, no, her boyfriend just had kind of a sour look about his face. And I was like, oh my God, no wonder he looks so sour. If he has to kiss that girl, it was horrible. You could smell it from like 4 feet away. I know you guys have smelled halitosis before. But in any case, the goal is to keep eating more greens and sour and cabbage and whatever, parsley, to get to this point, and less bread and less meat and heavy foods and foods that aren't even foods at all, like dairy or Frankenstein chicken. So to get to this point of where you're consuming a predominant amount of cleansing foods, and a lot of it raw, and not so much of the energy power foods. See, most people, they want to eat 80% or 90% energy power foods. So they get up in the morning and they eat eggs and pancakes and a sprig of parsley if they're lucky. That's what they'll put on your plate at those greasy spoon restaurants. But you know where that's going for you. We have one of those greasy spoon restaurants here in Burnsville. I can't remember the name of it, but one of the girls bought a couple of my pellets. And if you go in there, all that people are consuming is power foods, carb foods, and protein foods. And they don't even know what a fruit and vegetable is. In the country, see, there's certain things of the country, like the air is really good and the water is generally pretty good. And so people, they don't keep up with a diet very good. So that's their main hurting point, their main low point, their weakness, their diets. And they all, not all of them, some of them have homegrown food. Some of them do, if they're smart. But for the most part, people really don't in the country and probably elsewhere. Just depends on who it is. Some people take care of themselves and some don't. But let's see. So I think that people, so one of the problems I have with living in the country is that sometimes I really feel isolated and alone. And thank God for the internet. And it's one of the things, this Sunday Night Live is one of the things that I do to be social. And I really need this. And so I hope that you benefit from it as much as I do just sitting here and talking with y'all. Oh, good, Melissa. People are full of toxins. Yeah. Western Grill in Moab. We finish partying at 5 or 6 a.m. We go there. Black coffee and sugary big donuts. Yeah. Yeah, and you know, it's also when Joe says we go and have black coffee and sugary donuts at 6 a.m. after partying all night, that's that's a problem too, because you have all these friends and that's what they do and that's what they're addicted to. And I have a video explaining that, entitled "My Party Friends Had to Go." And it was hard because I loved my party friends. One of them's name was Unk. I called him Unk because he became an uncle. He was in his, like, what was Unk? I can't remember how old he was, but he became an uncle. I thought it was a cute name because this guy that I was friends with, he looked kind of like an Unk. He was short and overweight, but we liked to go party, you know? And we would go to the Pink Panther down in San Diego. This is in San Diego. We would go to the Pink Panther and drink our asses off and play pool all night. We would go to friends of his house and get cocaine and snort it. And, you know, I wasn't a big drug doer. I was mostly just a drinker back then in my early 20s. But we did do some partying. We did do some partying. But I got to this point of where that had to go. I had to change. And when I changed that, they all had to go. All my friends had to go. No matter how nice they were nice people, even though, you know, they party, but they were nice people. And we did things together, you know, we would go to ball games, we would go to the beach, we would go to bars and various things. But that was my life when I was very young, you know. But, you know, everything changes, as we now see. Everything changes. And if you're a smoker and you get to the point of where you're just tired of the bronchitis or whatever, then you have to quit. Like I did that too. It took me 2 years of quitting. And that was probably one of the very first things that I was exposed to that was like a holistic modality, hypnotherapy. I went to a group hypnotherapy class to quit smoking, and I quit for 3 months straight after that. That was the longest I'd ever made it. And everything the guy said while we were in hypnosis made a lot of sense, and it just really ingrained into my subconscious. And I thought that that was so powerful. And I think that was, yeah, like I said, one of the very first things that I ever did. I'd never been to a health food store before that. I didn't know what the word organic means. And so I was just like, that was before that experience of fasting that I told you about. And if you haven't seen that video, it's entitled uh, Fasting for 10 Days on Pepcid AC. Something like that. So you should know that I've been doing this healing thing for a long time, but it's because I've needed to, because I was just like the epitome of everything bad. Not everything, you know, like I was a thief or something like that. But I drank, I smoked, I did recreational drugs, I ate at Burger King and McDonald's and Taco Bell, all of that. I did all of that shit. And I even had one of I owned an auto detailing business, and I detailed cars with chemicals all day. So there you go. All things bad. And then that 10-day fast, it took me about a week or two of thinking about what had really happened when I fasted for 10 days on Pepcid AC, 50 milligram Pepcid ACs. And after about a week or two, I believe somebody told me about, they mentioned allergists and they mentioned health food stores. And I really was interested in finding out more about those things, and the rest is history. Within a couple of months, I really got into the Book of Macrobiotics. Somebody at the health food store turned me on to that, probably because I told them that I was interested in learning about natural living, something like that. I went to get a macrobiotic consultation with a guy named Bob Lugone in Hillcrest, the Hillcrest area of San Diego. And I started learning about the yin and the yang. And I don't have that book anymore, but it was beat. I went through that book to the point of where it was just beat to crap. Some of the pages were falling out of it. I dug and I dug. For the first 10 years of my healing agenda thing, 10 or 15 years, I was really like into it. I was neck up into learning how I could get healthy. And I studied and I studied and I studied. And I was not going to stop until I got healthy. Like in the beginning, I thought, okay, because I'd achieved so much so quickly with a 10-day fast, I was like, man, I can get this candida problem, because in the beginning I thought it was all just the candida. When I think back on that, it's just like, oh my God. But then I started learning about more and more and more things. The mercury fillings in my mouth, the carpet with all the toluene, benzene, and formaldehyde that I was breathing in it. And when you start to change everything, when you start to change your diet and everything, then you start to get really, really sensitive to all the chemicals. I had that business up for sale, sold and out the door within a year or two, and I was out of San Diego by like 94, something like that. 93 or 4. And so in the beginning, when I became a health nut and I just really got crazy with it, I got so thin. I was down to about 140, 42 pounds, something like that. I was like, because your body, it wants to break down when you do that. And if you're still young, relatively young, with a strong liver and kidneys, and the ability to really go for it hard, totally quit sugar, totally quit white flour foods. That was as good as I could do in the beginning. And that's a lot for most people. And so you need to know that some of you can go crazy and just, if you lived in the country and had clean air and clean water and good parents with no problems, it's like I had, and various whatever, you might be able to just go raw vegan. There are people out there that just went raw vegan overnight. It's possible because we're so different. We're so totally, totally different. Where we come from, what our spiritualities were. Did we grow up with totally cool, have any worries about finances? Like money is such a huge worry for people. How smart are you? Because the smarter you are, we're all so different, and that's going to largely determine. You have to really analyze. That's when I do a holistic consultation. I talk to people about the nuts and bolts. I ask them what they do for a living. Where did you grow up? What were your parents like? Everything. I want to know everything. And that gives me and I even made a questionnaire. Okay, so this guy that contacted me the other day, I was really blessed because he's a pretty smart guy. I could tell he was an African American by his voice. But when I got his email in the beginning, I didn't know that. And he asked me, he said, I would like to fill out a questionnaire. I would like to fill out a questionnaire asking me all of these different things so that when I send it to you, I'm going to fill it out. And he was very thorough, very thorough. He filled this thing out to the tilt with like personal specifics that most people would never say, like in regards to relationships and sex and various things like that. But it doesn't bother me at all. I'm all grooving to as much as you can give me. So if you want to do a holistic consultation now, I now have made up a pretty good questionnaire that gets to the nitty gritty so that I can scan over it before I talk to you, and then I'll know the basics for who you are and where you've been. Ah! So anyways, yeah, go to brettsnaturalhealth.com and click on holistic consultation. So I think that the people in China, a lot of people in China probably feel really, and your lungs is your fourth chakra, and that is really the love chakra, the romance chakra, the emotional chakra. They're all to a degree different emotions. Like your stomach is more of a fear chakra and that things. And I've been analyzing this world and humanity for over 25 years. Well, probably my whole life. But I really started to wake up and become conscious as to the imbalances of this world after studying macrobiotics, after just listening to my own body and going through thousands, probably, I don't know, after 28 years, who knows how many cycles of cleansing I've gone through. I just went through another one last night. I go through these mini ones that they last for 12 to 14 hours where my immune system kicks in and I get sick, sicker than shit. And I do that every couple of weeks lately. Sometimes it's a little longer, sometimes a little less. But in any case, yeah, I think that a lot of people are going to do a lot of emotional, respiratory system, fourth chakra, heart, thymus healing. And I would imagine that, after seeing all of the masks that were sent to Italy from China and other things, to try and help them, that a lot of people in China feel really bad that the coronavirus came from Wuchang, whatever it's called. And I hope, there's a reason for that. There's a purpose for that. And people, they need to come down on people that are consuming, that aren't taking care of animals. They need to just use common sense. Because anybody that watches my channel here, and please give me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. There's only 13 thumbs ups. I'm sure that more than 100 people have watched this tonight. Anyway, so I think that a lot of them probably feel really bad, and I got that indication from Joyce, the lady that makes the tags for me, that lives in Hong Kong. Of course, Hong Kong is a different animal than China. Hong Kong is a British thing, But still, they're still Chinese people, and I'm sure that a lot of people, not only in Hong Kong, but on the mainland, feel bad that this virus has come from their country. And I'm sure that's how it would be for a lot of different countries. And there doesn't have to be such a feeling of competition and such a feeling of like a big country that makes all the things for the world. And at the same time, we have to find balance between. There's a lot of things that they do that's not ethical, like stealing ideas from other countries, like mine, like my ideas. They could steal my foot friend idea and make plastic ones. And it won't be long, you'll see, they'll do that. But for me, there's just something bigger about my life than worrying about people taking my ideas. I'm hoping that people would, somebody would take me in if I needed a place to stay. I'm hoping that maybe even some people would put me in their wills if I've helped them enough, because they know that I do good things with the money. I don't have freaking 2 cents to rub together. I need to get more water. Ooh. So, really, a whole lot of things need to change, and they're gonna come down on Chinese people that are not raising animals in a healthy way, because that can spread disease. It can at least make individuals not very healthy, and when individuals are not very healthy, not only can pandemics happen, but basically it puts a major strain on the health care system. Because if people don't care about the foods that they eat and the air that they breathe, etc., they're not going to be healthy. And it puts a strain on everyone, societies, everyone. And people are like, when the shit hits the fan, like what's happening right now, it's making people think. Thank God that people are starting to think. And they're going to tell their aunt that's sitting there eating pasta and cheese. They're going to say, hey, you know what? You can continue to eat that, but guess what? I'm not going to be here to nurse you. I'm going to throw your ass in a nursing home. So that, because I've been telling you, like I've told my mother and my brother, they know the deal. I told them over 20 years ago a whole lot of things. But all they did was mock me. So guess what? I don't call them, I don't email them, I don't talk to them, nothing. Nothing. And guess what? I'm off the hook, because they're going to be sick. If they get the coronavirus, if they get heart disease, if they get diabetes, all kinds of things, My mom, she may have been a nurse and she's got some money, she's got a 401k, she's got her health care, yada, yada, yada. But those things are not going to save her. Those things are not going to save her health. I could be out on the street with nothing but my clothes and some identification, etc., and hitchhiking down the road. But I've built my health for a long, long time. How valuable is that? You might have somebody that's a billionaire, right? Somebody that's a billionaire, and he's spent his whole life investing in the stock market, whatever, real estate, but he didn't spend very much time on his health. And guess what? Now he's got cancer, and he's just about a done fucking deal. That's the deal, y'all. So you don't have to be rich to be healthy. You do have to for socializing, etc. And really, man, if you can get some clean air and some clean water eventually, if you can get an internet job, if you can have your own little business, something that's solid, or if you can have multiple things that you do, the more versatile you can be in times of extreme change, because that's what we're undergoing right now, okay? So if you're a postman right now, you've got a job that's probably pretty solid, right? All the time, he's driving a car around, and he gets a pretty, depending on which way the wind is blowing, he's often getting to breathe his own fumes from his own exhaust. So it really is going to take some thinking on your part to figure out a job that's not too toxic, but that's relatively stable and pays okay, and you get your basic needs met. Gabe says, I work at a grocery store as a cashier. Any tips for not contracting the COVID-19? Gabe, I would say basically that what they're doing right now is putting up plexiglass in between you and the customer at the register. If not, have they not already done that? So that's pretty much, they're having the register people wear gloves, and I don't know what that's going to do. But you could try to not touch your face, and hopefully they put the plexiglass thing up. And the other thing that you're really going to have to focus on is your serenity. Okay, so people are going to be looking into your eyes, and they're going to be thinking to themselves all kinds of various horrible thoughts. I wonder if he's got the coronavirus. I wonder if he's going to catch it and die. All kinds of shit. The people that are dealing a lot with the public right now, like as cashiers or whatever, those people are going to have to they're going to have to get balls of steel. That's what you need to get, man. And the stomach is the courage and or fear organ. Okay? That's why they say, can you stomach it? Because there's something to do with the stomach. Do some stomach massage. Maybe you should try and work on your stomach flora by consuming sauerkraut and stuff like that. Kombucha is also good for detoxing the body because the acids open up tissues. But look up herbs and foods that are good for the stomach. Because if you can make your stomach stronger, then you can have more courage in your mind and your whole body. You could also do some meditative things and say some mantras or positive affirmations to yourself, like before you go to work. Like, I can do this. I can be strong. Okay, so check it out. I went to the co-op the other day, yesterday, as I told you. And they had just put up, the manager there had just put up these plexiglass things in front of the registers so that we wouldn't breathe on their cashiers. And I was standing off to the side of it because I needed to, on the side of it where there wasn't a piece of plexiglass in between me and the cashier, but I was probably still 5 feet away from him or more. So I was needing to, I'm like, dude, I can't bag my groceries if I'm standing behind the plexiglass because the little table where he was setting everything was not in front of, with the plexiglass in between us. And so I'm like, well, I'll try. And I'm like trying to bag my groceries and keep my face in between me and the guy, but it just wasn't working. And he was like irritable about it. And I could tell that it wasn't so much that I was doing something wrong. It was that he was so stressed from this whole thing. And we're all going to feel that. We're all going to have these ups and downs where we're at our edge. And we're all going to have a lot of sanctity, a lot of serenity of our minds, and a lot of compassion for people when they freaking lose it. Because you're going to see people lose it. Or you're going to see people that are just on edge. And you got to look into their faces. At the end of that video yesterday, I tried to be as calm as I could, but I was going through that stomach thing last night, and you could see that I was like distressed. Brett, do you use cash? Sometimes. People touch everything, blah, blah, blah. I never see anything. Okay, so Argentina, my daughter lives there. Carolyn Smale. Wow. I wouldn't want to be in Argentina right now. I watched a story about this lake in Argentina that used to be just beautiful. And now it's full of petroleum products. Petroleum. The whole thing is just covered with a big greasy slime of petroleum because of the petroleum company that's there. And they used to make so much money there, and everyone was subsidized, you know. I want to talk a little bit about that, which is what we're all going to be here soon. And it's fine that we're all getting subsidized by the government for a while. But, you know, it's not going to be like Argentina, because this is America, and if anything, people really need to stop. People really need to stop and take a break, and thank God the government is going to, you know, write us a bunch of bad checks. they're going to be good checks. They're going to work, but, you know, with the national debt, I really don't know how they can write checks to everyone, because we owe. And so really, off to work we need to be going. But the thing is that everything has to change. And it's going to be a real clash. But the thing is, the coronavirus is here to help us. It's here to help all of those naysayer people. All of those naysayer bastards that don't want us to go move into cleaner energy. But see, the public is going to create the demand. The public is going to scream, hey, the skies were blue. They're going to bail out the airline industries? I don't think so. I don't think that that's a good idea. I think that they should give them some money, because we need airlines. But people need to realize that we need to stop flying so much. Whether there actually is a government program spraying chemtrails or not, regardless, all the fumes being burned by God knows how many airplanes. Remember, like, if you were to look at one of those maps that shows all of the airlines, all of the airplanes that are in the air at this very moment, if you were to look at that right now, compared to a month ago, what would you see? It would be radically different, wouldn't it? So, for me, I haven't flown in an airplane for a long, long time. Now, my friend Christina, she was really enjoying going down to Mexico for the winter, down to Oaxaca. And she would fly to Mexico City, and then she would catch another plane from Mexico City to someplace, and then she would catch a taxi ride, whatever, bus, to Oaxaca, and spend the whole time there. But really, I don't know. There's a whole lot of things that we need to do to be kinder to the earth. And if we don't, I'm telling you that it's going to be a big problem. We're going to see more problems like what we have now. I think that some people will start to get it, and a whole lot of people won't. It depends on how willing they are to accept it and how much pain it causes them. Like if somebody that's a billionaire that we consider to be somebody that might be part of the what do you call that, Illuminati, yada, the conspiracy cults, the conspiracy cults that are planning on taking over the world. Well, they already run the world for the most part in a lot of ways. But maybe one of those people will get the coronavirus and change their ways, or maybe their parents will get the coronavirus and change the way they do business, because they somehow get compassion for people. Maybe they decide that they want to start investing their money in things that matter more. The air around Denver is noticeably cleaner. I imagine it is. Hi, Eric Sucks. He says weird stuff. Hello, Eric. Diana says hi, Eric. Eric, you don't suck, man. You don't. So, he looks very old. Anyways, let's see. So as I was driving home from Asheville yesterday, I had this knot in my gut, and I knew that I was going to be going through one of my gut healing nights. But I had these feelings about I was really affected by talking to the people yesterday, and I didn't put all of the interviews in that video. But I'm driving along and I just feel like driving really slow, and I'm driving about 50 miles, 55 miles an hour, maybe 60. And all of a freaking sudden, oh my God, a rocket bike blasted by me, missing my car by just a couple of feet, maybe four feet. He was closer to the center lane. A rocket bike blew by me, probably doing 100 miles an hour faster than I was doing. I'm not kidding you. Probably 160 miles an hour. And I looked in my rearview mirror and I saw it coming, but it was only a quarter of a second, maybe, like a quarter of a second before it went by me. And it was just like, and I just went, scared the fuck out of me. Oh my God. And then about 15 seconds later, the cop car that was chasing him. Say, everybody should give me $1. There's 29 of you watching right now. You guys should all. Eric, I told him that he doesn't suck, and he gave me $1. Thanks, Eric. So, anyways, the cop went by me at about 125 miles an hour, maybe 130, and that wasn't near as scary because the rocket bike made this noise that was just like a scream noise. You know what they sound like? It was like a scream noise. And then about a minute later, he had obviously gotten off an exit, crossed over the overpass, went back the other way, because I look, and there he is. He's coming back the other way, not going as fast, probably only doing about 100 on the opposite side of the freeway. And then I look in my rearview mirror, and I see him get off another overpass behind me. And he did it again. And the cop was still on him. I don't know how exactly the cop knew, because I know that Asheville doesn't have helicopters. I'm pretty sure. I doubt. It's possible that Fox has a helicopter. I'm not sure. Oh wait, I'm not even thinking right. I'm not sure if the police officers, if the Asheville police or the highway patrol have helicopters. But somehow he was following him, because he went around again and passed me again. But this time, the motorcycle passed me again, doing like 130 miles an hour. And then the cop, once again, passed me again. He was only doing about 110 this time. And after the cop passed me, he got off on the next overpass and went down, and there was a little road, a little road that was going along the freeway, and he turned into that like he knew that he was in there somewhere hiding. So that was all just really, really blew my freaking mind. And my heart and everything, I was just like full of adrenaline and like chemicals and stuff. Oh. And Eric, Eric sent me to keep up with Mario Ortega. You will have to do better than that. I'm just kidding, man. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Anybody that is interested in any of my products, it would be like really cool if you would buy some of them, just to keep me busy. Now, I have one job left, and that is from my very good friend Melissa in Ireland. She ordered 4 pillows for her family, and The shipping for 4 pillows to Ireland is about $140. So it is not cheap. But I guarantee anybody will really love these pillows. Oh, thanks, Diana. Thanks. It's a tradition now to send Brett a few bucks. Diana is my good friend in Missouri. She's somebody that I don't know if she'd have a problem. I don't know how her health is doing. How's your health doing now, Diana? Are you doing better? I hope you are. And I hope that you stay safe. She's had some health challenges for sure. She's a health warrior, though, and she's really strong of the mind. Diana's a very strong mind to be strong and courage, lots of courage. Cheryl. Cheryl is my good friend in Illinois that works at a major airport. She is very sweet, and she's probably not working very much nowadays. And I hope that you're enjoying your vacation. I'm sure that you're probably getting some employment. And Cheryl, I know this is so good for you to be home and relaxing a lot more than you are now. She's been working that job for one of the major airlines for a long, long, long time. And she works like as a concierge, right? Isn't that what they call your job, Cheryl? So anyways, yeah, let's see. So I've had very minimal exposure, so anyone that orders anything from me, you don't have to worry about getting the coronavirus. I live in the mountains, and I'm very careful when I go to the store and stuff. So my hair seems to be getting more color in it. And I don't know that you can tell with this live video because it's not as good of a picture, but it feels better. I can tell you that my hair feels better. It feels softer. It feels better. I don't know how to describe it. And I attribute this largely to getting completely off of that chicken, that store-bought chicken, and eating canned tuna, or not tuna, the salmon. Eating the pink wild salmon. I love salmon. In fact, I love salmon so much that I honestly have thought about moving to a place like Alaska where I could fish for salmon. If it weren't so damn cold, and also another problem with Alaska is that it's like only 1/3 of the population is women there. And for me, that's one of the problems that I have living up here in the mountains and being a health nut. I love beautiful women. And so I'm never going to be monogamous. That wouldn't work for me. To be flat out honest, I want to be able to talk freely. I want to be able to have sex with freely. I want to be able to do whatever I want to do with beautiful women, and that's really largely one of the reasons, anyway, why I became a health nut, because I've been hoping that I could get, attractive enough. Because, see, isn't that what we all one of the things that we all want? Would be really beautiful and have a beautiful mate, a beautiful lovers, beautiful friends, etc. And I'm not like tunnel visioned in regards to that, because I have so many great friends that they're not really all that attractive at all, but they have, physically, but they have fantastic personalities, and we see along lines so many things we agree upon and stuff, and all that is really important to me too. But as far as like eye candy is concerned, man, I'm telling you, Cheryl, that's so nice of you. Thanks, Cheryl. We all, who's gonna say that they don't like looking at a person that's really beautiful. Who's going to say that? But you know what? I'll tell you what. There's this girl that she is just like one of those girls. You guys know what I'm talking about. The kind you'd take home to mom. For me, I'm not taking anything to mom, but the kind of girl that you could damn near almost want to have like a real monogamous relationship. I found this girl. I can't remember. It's a gardening channel, and when I watch her videos, I like to listen to her sweet English accent, and her hair is absolutely gorgeous. She has this long, long brown hair, and her demeanor. Here's the thing, like her energy and her demeanor. You can tell that she is just like the nicest, most caring, sweetest thing on earth. So, I mean, it's like every guy's dream to have this girl that's just gorgeous and and sweet and smart. You can tell she's like really smart too, you know? She's the whole freaking ball of wax. And I'll watch her videos and she'll be talking about all these gardening things, And I'm just like, fuck the gardening. I just put on some short shorts. She's not the kind of a girl that's going to flaunt her body at all. But some girls, that's cool. It's all right. I mean, we enjoy looking at nice bodies and stuff. But at the same time, this girl, she doesn't really have to do that, I don't think. She knows she doesn't have to do it because she knows that she's so sweet in other ways. It's like, well, she'll just wear whatever. But your face, it really tells a tale. Your face and your voice tell a tale. And as people get older, if you hear them talking like this, and if you see certain wrinkles on their faces and stuff, then those things aren't as attractive. But a person can still be attractive in other ways, like a person could be extremely wise. Think of all the different things that can attract you to a person. And it's really good to have an extremely, like a really broad spectrum balance of all the different things that you can do. Imagine somebody that has this just excellent, just like a deep vocabulary of words that they'll express to you, and you might not even know what the word means, but in the way that they put it in the sentence, you could kind of get a grasp for it, you could kind of understand what it means. But it's so interesting to hear people saying things, and you might actually go on Google and look it up what that word means. But there are so many different things that can make a person attractive. But if a person is really the basics, like they're really beautiful and they're really smart and they're really sweet and those kinds of things. That's what this girl has anyway. So yeah, I probably have to move again at the end of August. And that is, I mean, we don't know that for sure yet, but we'll see. But I can tell you this. I've done a lot of healing in the last couple of years of living here. 2.5 years, including the trailer, I believe. Or is it 3.5? Time just flies. But I can say for sure. Hey, Shabi. Okay, bye, Eric. Thank you for the donations, man. See ya. As gorgeous as Jennifer Aniston? uh, more, for sure. And this girl is really young. She's probably like 30. I can't remember what her channel is, but I might tell you later. Yeah, I really like wise. Wise. There's a difference between wise and smart. And there's a definite difference. There's a definite difference. In fact, there's this group. Let me look them up real quick. there's this musical family that I subscribe to, and one of the girls, there's 3 girls and 1 boy, and they're all like in their 20s roughly. I think one of them, is, the youngest girl, is probably only 19, 18, 19. But one of the girls, you can see in her eyes that she has a wise compassion look. It's kind of like this. It's kind of like it's kind of like droopy a little bit. Like she's like, oh. It's kind of like a compassionate, wise look. And people can tell how you are by the characteristics of your face. What do you guys think I am? Like what would you say that my face looks like? Like a smart ass? Well, sometimes I am a smart ass. That is so funny. I'm not sure if I'm subscribed to her. Let me look. Gardening UK. She always. Aha! Okay, so here you go. I don't even know what her name is, and I just discovered her the other day. Her channel is called Homegrown Garden. Okay, go check out the girl at Homegrown Garden. And tell me if you don't think that that girl is like the sweetest thing of all time. Like, I've seen some girls that are pretty sweet, but this girl she's pretty darn sweet. So, and the people, the Petersons. Okay, so the musical group is called the Petersons. And the girl that plays the violin, she's the one that has the eyes and the look that is like the compassionate, wise one of the family. Okay? So, let's see. That's just about the end of my list here. And I'm sure I could come pretty nice end, Lord. Easy going, look at that face. So I think I'll call it a night tonight. I want to thank everyone for joining me. And Jennifer, I'm sorry you showed up so late. You have to go back to the first of the video and watch the whole thing. How long have I been on? Okay. Well, yeah, it's only an hour and a half long. So I appeal to everyone to please go to brettsnaturalhealth.com and buy one of my rollers. I'm telling you, these wood rollers, after you get used to rolling on them, you'll be like, I rolled on mine before I did this video. I also did skin brushing. I also did rolling on my legs. I brushed my hair really good, which really stimulates your brain. And I brushed my face with my Bernard Jensen facial brush. And all of these things, I think, really help me to think better and get me clicking, as well as the ginkgo. I think ginkgo is really awesome. And I feel like I had a real good thing tonight. Don't you guys think I did really well? Thank you for those hearts, Diana, and thank you for the little donation. I really appreciate it. You're so sweet. And thank you, Fartmeister. And as much I was watching, I was multitasking. Oh, okay, cool. Very good. Sometimes I put the computer on, the volume on in the stereo. I've got a line that runs in there, and I'll turn the stereo on, and I'll just listen to Kai Pacha do his weekly astrology forecast or various things. A lot of them I don't need to see. I just listen to the knowledge and wisdom, etc. And that's a really good one to subscribe to. New Paradigm Astrology. His channel might just be called Tom Lesh. No, I don't think it is. Tom Lesher, New Paradigm Astrology. Every Wednesday he has an astrology report if you're into that. And you don't really even have to be into it because he's very, very wise and very great to listen to. And he'll inspire you and tell you about the Aquarian age and how we're moving out of the primitive hierarchy, a male-dominated hierarchy, and we're moving into more of a conscious evolutionary state of being. And it's pretty obvious, isn't it? And we really, really needed this coronavirus. But just know that it's going to be difficult. That's kind of the theme, I think, that we really need to remember. This is not going to be easy. My dad, one of the things that my dad always said was that he read this book, and the first line of the book, I can't remember what it's called, it says, life isn't easy, something like that. Well, that says it all. That says it all for this. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have to really search deep somehow. I'm so glad that I haven't had to block the Fartmeister and the Meatwad show yet. It's looking okay for you guys. Usually with people with names like that, they don't last very long on my channel. You know, if you're named something like Shithead or something, you usually get blocked pretty quick. But thanks for joining me, everybody. Remember to give a thumbs up and check out my site, Brett's Natural Health. Bye.